Hello, Capricorn. Please don't be mad at me. I know that I was late on everyone else, but I'm super late with you guys, and I apologize for that. My bad. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I love your face. It's still early April, dagnabbit son of a gun. So, anywho, I'm going to jump into your reading. Just a few things that are different in the event you guys have not cross-watched and don't know this already. I'm doing an overall energy between you and your person of interest, which is actually a part of your extended reading, but I can't talk right now. I'm including it here because they're new this month. So that's a little sneak peek, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, going into you and your person of interest, it's the same old cross-watcher spread, but the only thing that is different is that with the first row, it's for Capricorn, and if you are a cross-watcher, if you're cross-watching this video for a Capricorn, you're probably going to resonate more with the first row than you would for the second, because the second is a person of interest, so this is probably going to resonate more with Capricorn's person of interest, and if you're cross-watching for, I just cannot talk, and if you're cross-watching for a Capricorn person, they may show up more in the second row than in the first, if that makes sense, right? So first row is Capricorn and those people who are cross-watching a Capricorn, and then the second row is Capricorn's person of interest or the Capricorn that the cross-watcher is cross-watching for. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. But anyway, I'm Princess India. If you don't know, if you're new, hello, welcome. If you're family, you already know what's going on here. How you doing? How you been? And whatnot, or whatever. So we're going to jump right in. Overall energy, first card we have is forgiveness. Then 2 came out. It's discovery and growth and dissipating. So looking at the energy between the two of you guys, which is rather interesting, there's a need to reframe past experiences and to release and surrender any form of, what's the word I'm looking for? Angst, anger, grudges that you're holding between the two of you, right? And what this is pretty much saying to me is that whatever occurred that you may feel that you would need to forgive the person for, or that you feel you would need to be forgiven for, right? That whole conflict, or whatever you want to call it, I don't know how big or small it was, but whatever conflict that occurred, the purpose for it was for you, the other person, or both of you to learn a very huge, valuable lesson, right? It was meant to unlock a facet of you that you weren't aware of, or a facet of you that you completely forgot about, or a facet of you that you kept kind of locked away. So I'm feeling this in a couple of different ways, but overall I feel like it's kind of a karmic lesson for one or both people in the situation, right? And I feel like a big piece of that, like the lesson that was intended to be learned, was less talking, more action, if that kind of makes sense. Because it's more or less like, okay, when we have unforgiveness in our heart towards ourselves or others, it's something that keeps us stagnant, right? And we're not able to unlock what it was we were intended to learn, and even to grow from what it is we learned about ourselves, as long as we refuse to forgive the other person or ourselves. Granted, there are lots of times when people do things where we feel like we can never forgive them, but forgiveness isn't really a gift that's given for the other person. It's a gift to set yourself free, because otherwise you're stuck, being prisoner. And lastly, the main thing that I'm seeing with that is how that has held you prisoner. And it's become this thing of waiting. You know what I mean? Almost having several opportunities to set the self free from a, circumstance, emotion, what have you. And just kind of dreaming about one day when things will be different, or this person will be different, but not ever actually taking action towards that. Now, of course, we know these are my favorite cards in America, which are the Chakra Oracle deck, right? And we have 4 chakras here. We have the third eye, which is all right? We have our root chakra. I can't point at that right now. We have the heart chakra, and we have our solar plexus, right? Our third eye, of course, is like, where our spiritual gifts are, our clear seeing, clairvoyance, clairsentience, all that good stuff. Our root chakra is our fight or flight instincts, like those survival instincts or our basic needs being met, food, shelter, so on and so forth. Those things that ground us in our humanity. Then we have our heart chakra, of course, which is where we feel, our love for ourselves and others. Goes both ways. And it's the chakra that intermingles our upper chakras, which are our spiritual chakras, and our lower chakras, which are our human chakras. And the last of the human chakras is the last card that we have, which is our solar plexus. And that's where your life force energy, your courage, your willpower, all of that resides, right? So there's an intermingling of all of these things. More or less seeing, I don't want to say behind the veil, but almost like reading between the lines, seeing the truth of a matter, right? Understanding that this was a transformative experience on a core level, meaning your root, right? There being an expansion in your heart space from this situation as well. And then learning how to channel that life force energy for your overall wellness and growth. Hopefully that makes sense. So moving on to our first row of cards, which is Capricorn. I don't know why I wanted to say Aries so bad. First card for Capricorn or someone who's cross-watching a Capricorn. We have the Six of Swords in reverse. Rightfully so. Then we have the Five of Pentacles. And we have, the Five of Cups. This makes a lot of sense. Well, that just kind of explains what it is I saw here. So, Capricorn, or a person cross-watching a Capricorn. Whatever disappointment there was in reference to this relationship, you're still mentally stuck at the disappointment. The key to unlock you from the stuckness, I guess you would say, or being mentally stuck there, because I kind of feel like it's like a mental rehearsal, like constantly going back in one's head about the situation or the circumstance and so on and so forth. The thing that's not allowing you to move on is, even if it's not forgiveness for the person, it's a need of forgiveness for the self, right? And it's more or less feeling, and it's almost like I feel like you're going back and forth between the Five of Pentacles and the Five of Cups. So it's a sadness, it's a loss, it's a depression, it's feeling kind of jilted, left out in the cold, feeling kind of screwed over, like the rug was pulled from under you. And I feel like it's a constant rehearsal of these emotions. You know what I mean? Like kind of going in this circle, but looking at the fact that we have a 6, even though it's in reverse, and we have 2 5s. It's like this is a major shift, and that's making me think about this overall energy. Like the purpose of this experience, was it being an emotional experience through which you were intended to discover something about yourself you didn't know before, and you were supposed to expand and grow from it. But I feel like the lack of understanding, because of trying to figure out why this happened in the first place, like why did this happen to me type of deal, or why did this pan out this way, or how could this person do this? Like I feel like thoughts like that are keeping you fixated on the negative of the situation and not being able to see the positive. And I mean, I understand, you know what I mean? I totally get that, because I don't know what it is that happened, but whatever it is, if it's someone who it's at the bottom of your deck. Oh, we have the 10 of Pentacles in the reverse at the bottom of the deck. Oh, let me not clarify with that deck. It looks like, and I don't know why, dude, like it's breakup season or something. It seems like a whole lot of that has been going on. But whatever the case is, whatever it is that didn't pan out for you, it's kind of being stuck in that and not being able to move forward because you're still kind of ruminating over that, which is normal. Like, I don't want you to feel like that's abnormal, because it's not. But I feel like there's a lighter side to this that you're not seeing, if that makes sense. And 4 cards came out. Okay, this is interesting. So we have the High Priestess, we have the Hierophant, we have the 7 of Swords, and then we have the Knight of Pentacles. So the first thing that kind of comes to me about this is that This could involve another person. This could involve another person. Or it could just be like, okay, how it came to me is that you received information that was once upon a time a secret. It's no longer a secret, right? Where it changed your perception of a person. It's either a person you were committed to, it's possible to be married to, but a person that you were committed to was keeping a secret from you, and it's either they literally took something from you or figuratively took something from you, like your trust, or, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like I'm feeling like having faith in someone and them stealing that from you. It's almost like a proverbial theft of the way that you saw this person at one point in time. Whatever it is that you found out that they did stole that former perception that you had of them. And then it simply could just be finding out about another person that you didn't know about. So like a cheating type of situation. Whew. And that kind of upset the vision that you had for this circumstance with this person. So it's more or less you had a dream of how this was going to pan out, and that was taken from you. And it's an inability to move forward because of that, right? And I understand, because the feeling I keep getting, which is why I keep saying that, is like a feeling of like the rug being pulled from under you. Like I stood firmly on what I thought this was, and now the rug's been pulled from under me, and now it's something totally different, if that makes sense. But I'm going to look at your other person's cards. The first card they have is the Empress. Then they have the Four of Wands in reverse. And then we have the Five of Wands in reverse. Oh, that's interesting. Interesting. Okay. So a situation being turned upside down because of this person cutting you off. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait. Let me clarify this before. This looks like a person's world was turned up, like the person of interest, like your person, right? Whether you're cross-watching for this person or this is your person, Capricorn. This person cut you off, right? I mean, you could have cut them off too, right? But whatever happened, it turned your world upside down, right? But it has something to do with this Empress figure. So it's almost saying to me that this cutoff happened, right? But the reason for it was to keep down conflict about this Empress person. So I don't know. I'm going to continue to clarify it, but I don't know if it's because either they cut communication because someone had a baby, or there's a baby on the way, right? Or that someone was married and you didn't know that they were married. And the reason why they cut you off was to keep the conflict down. But we got the Chariot. Oh, this is already getting really weird. Yeah, what this would look like to me is finding out that a person was married that you didn't know was married. And to kind of keep the peace in their household is why they cut you off. Or the wife found out, and this is a very specific message. The wife found out and had them cut you off. And then the Hermit card. Wow. Oh. Dog. This is crazy. And if it's not that, it's just that this person moved on with someone else. Come on, it's you right there. Yeah. If it's not that kind of situation, is that this person decided to move on with someone else. Yeah. This person decided to move on with someone else. It's like, I feel it's almost a thing of like feeling like this person led you on in a sense. Like, it's almost like selling a dream, so to speak. Because I feel like everything was kind of cool at one point in time in order for it to get you to think like this. Because, with the Ten of Pentacles, this is like not just Ten of Cups kind of energy. Because Ten of Cups, of course, is like emotional fulfillment. But it's like Ten of Pentacles is a family situation where you have two people who are very much compatible with each other's financial stability. You know what I'm saying? A stable foundation family-wise. You know what I'm saying? But that's in reverse. So it's like at one point in time, you felt that this was possible with this person. But it's as if that has been completely shattered and it's very difficult for you to move on. So the energy I'm more or less sensing is it comes off like a person who led a person on, like this person led you to believe that this was possible. Because I just can't really see a person, like, even if, like, I can't see you just, like, I mean, I feel like the Seven of Cups would have came up for something like that. If you just fantasize this in your head, right? Like, you just met someone and you idealize, it's like, oh my gosh, we could get married and have babies and stuff like that, right? But I feel like this person gave you some sense of tangible evidence that such of a thing was possible, whether they physically told you or alluded to it. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why it hurts so bad is because there was no red flags or like warning signs, and not saying that there wasn't, but I'm saying it from the person's perspective. There wasn't anything that you picked up on that would allude to this person not being honest, right? So it's kind of like when they cut you off, it was like, wait, what? You know what I'm saying? Like being caught completely off guard. You know what I'm saying? But the thing that I'm feeling is that behind the scenes, the entire time, this person had something else that was going on. Because even seeing these three cards together, like just the simple fact I had to clarify this twice is redonkulous. You know what I'm saying? It's like this is upsetting the apple cart when they cut off, right? But with the Five of Swords, this lets me know this is something they knew. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the card of like mind games and having the upper hand and a person losing at a battle that they didn't even know that they were in. Like you just can't win because the person is so well versed in playing games like this. You couldn't have even known that this was a whole ruse, if it makes sense, right? And then having the Empress and then the Chariot and then the King of Swords. It's like this person made a decision to move forward with this Empress figure, and this can either be a wife or someone that's pregnant. You know what I'm saying? So, but of course I'm reading for thousands of people, so it could be anything. It could be, a female figure that they're married to, someone they were committed to, or someone that they view as the Empress that they decided to move forward with. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like the whole purpose for them cutting you off, and that's what I'm saying, it's like it's almost as if they knew this, because them cutting you off, it cut the conflict. Like it stopped there from being any issues because you're out of the picture. But it's like even clarifying this with the Hermit and the Queen of Cups, it's almost like they're saying, it's like they knew what they were doing, because I feel like this is the energy that it left you in. Because it's like, it's so out of the blue, or so just completely like, I can't even find words for it. It's like something that'd leave a person speechless. You know what I'm saying? Like, this came so out of left field that it's like you're trying to find answers. And you're so confused, and it's like you're going within to try to figure out, did I say something wrong? Did I do something wrong? Like, how is it that everything was fine one day and then suddenly everything changed? But the thing I think is jacked up about this is like they knew that this was going to do that to you. Like, that's the thing that I'm not okay with. Because it's almost like blaming yourself. You know what I'm saying? And that's probably why it is you can't move on. That makes total sense. The reason why you keep rehearsing everything in your mind, like I was saying in the beginning, like you're going over it over and over and over again, thinking about what did I say, what could I have done, all of that is because this person abruptly cut communication with you and never gave you a reason why, but you're blaming yourself and it's not your fault. You know what I'm saying? It's like they got something else going on behind the scenes that they don't want you to know about. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like in some sense or another, you may have gotten wind about this already. Yeah, we got the Two of Swords at the bottom of this deck. So it's like being confused. You can't move on because you don't have any answers. It's like you really have no idea what happened here. Can I clarify the Knight of Pentacles, please, Spirit? Because I feel like in so many words, okay, the Page of Cups. I feel like in so many words, this person may or may not. Oh, good Lord. Two of Pentacles. I don't know, bruh. I feel like this person, okay. I feel like this person may come back and they may tell you the truth. They might tell you the truth about what happened. But I feel like, because you know, the Page of Pentacles, the Page of Cups in this deck for me is my half-ass offer card. So I feel like this more or less, if they did come back telling you the truth about all of this stuff that's been going on behind the scenes, if they do, you know what I'm saying? I feel like it's going to be like a half-hearted emotional offer to kind of reel you back in. And it's like behind that, they're still juggling, trying to make a decision. It's like they're still weighing their options. They're still not 100% sure. You know what I'm saying? So they're still not really coming with anything correct. And I would be leery about that just for the simple fact that, I mean, that's not like that's not how you handle stuff. You don't just cut somebody off. Like you don't lead a person on and just cut them off and come back like, hey, so I know I cut you off, I ghosted you and things, but here's what's been going on. And if it's not them, I feel like it's gonna be someone else that's gonna come tell you. But I feel this more if this is a cross-watching for a Capricorn. Like, I would feel that it's possible for the cross-watcher that the Capricorn person may come back and tell you this. But for others of you, like if this is a Capricorn person that's dealing with someone like this, I feel like you're going to get this information through somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know why I feel so heavily. It's like, I really feel like this is a person who is married. I really feel like this is a person who's married and not knowing that this person was married, or knowing that they were married and thinking that they were leaving and finding out that they're not. Like the person said that they were and they're actually not. But any offers that they'd be making would be them still trying to juggle, right? And more specifically, I don't know, it kind of feels like to me, if they were married, like the wife had a baby type of deal. And then all the signs that I see here, of course, Pisces, Taurus, Cancer, Libra, Virgo. That's the main ones that I see. That's very odd. I'm going to have to continue to unpack this because we are at 24 minutes in the extended, because I'm nosy and I want to know. Let me do you guys advice cards. That is so strange. But just a quick sum up. This is a very specific message, so this may not even resonate with everybody. But y'all know I'm all for whatever message needs to come out, coming out. But what I'm really feeling here is a person, there's a major lesson that's supposed to be learned, but a person who's stagnated because there's a need for forgiveness of self. I wouldn't even say so much for the other person. It's a need to forgive oneself for being in a situation like this. You know what I'm saying? Because it could be a lot of like beating oneself up. But I feel like there's a need to know that, like, if you're beating yourself up because you feel like you should have known, I don't feel like you could have, because how this person maneuvered this, I don't really feel like whoever this is was keen to see the red flags to be fully aware of what was going on here. Like, I don't feel like this person was a willing participant in this situation. You know what I'm saying? And of course, like I always say, if we know better, we do better. But because we didn't know better, we didn't do better. We all find ourselves in situations like this at one point in time, because sometimes we just have to learn by experience. Because being in a situation, like being on the outside looking in, is easy to say, like, oh, how could they not know that? Da, 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 da. It's so easy to say that when you're on the outside looking in. But, you know, I'm empathetic for people. Not everybody knows. You know what I'm saying? So I really feel in my heart this person got hit with the okie doke. But it's blaming oneself and trying to figure out what you did wrong. But it's like the other person totally orchestrated this to try to, like, it's almost like a self-preservation thing, to try to keep the conflict down and to not upset the apple cart in their life. They cut this off to protect themselves. They may or may not come and tell you something, but I feel like whatever it is that they come to tell you after having like ghosted you or whatever is going to be half-hearted, because the person's still going to be juggling. So your advice card for Capricorn, or the person cross-watching Capricorn, we have grounding. Where's my little bucket? Whew. This is a lot. And then in the extended, I'm going to read the little tidbits, the little fables and stuff that go with the overall energy cards too. Grounding. Okay, man, this is making me feel some type of way. As humans, our bodies, good Lord, are of the earth. It is a natural inclination when we experience uncomfortable emotions or energy to ground it out, much in the way a ground wire works with electrical current. However, with so much in our modern lives that causes us to be disconnected from Creator, we tend to gravitate towards false grounding. Overeating, smoking, drinking, and recreational drugs are common ways to try to ground. These items are of the earth, but they are not the earth. This is not a true grounding, and as such, it cannot sustain. It doesn't last. What ends up happening is that, as with most experiences that are false, we need more and more to achieve the same result. To truly ground and connect to both the earth and Creator, practice consciously connecting your energy to the earth. You should not be getting your energy outside of yourself, but directly from the divine. This is achieved through meditation, energy work, and mindfulness. Find a way that works for you and practice it. By drawing this card, you are being asked to look at areas in your life where you may be employing false grounding as a coping mechanism. So that's so important, my lovies. If you guys kind of going through this, if that's what the coping mechanism has been, that spirit like kind of calling you out, you know what I'm saying, is trying to get through this by relying on overeating or drinking or what have you, that's not a good route or path that you want to go down, because it's not really dealing with the problem. It's kind of sidestepping it. And I always say with that, energetically speaking, Spirit gives us the ability to not deal with stuff. Like, we have the right to do that, right? But the only downside is, like I say with energy, it can't be created or destroyed. So if energetically you're sensing something and you're not dealing with it, it doesn't go anywhere. It's just going to stay there and continue to pile up and pile up and pile up before you can't hold anymore, and it rears its ugly head. So it's always better to deal with things now and to confront things now, as opposed to later on when it has to deal with you. You feel me? Now, your other person's card is teaching. This is a lot. All these readings this month have been like that. I don't know what's happening. The situation you are inquiring... What? Oh, the situation you are inquiring about encourages teaching, whether it be student, teacher, parent, child, or just friend to friend. We are, all of us, learning and teaching constantly when we are maintaining a high vibration energetically. Never despair that the seeds you have planted have failed to take root. They may be taking time to germinate, or they may have migrated to another field. Do not plant seeds with the expectation of an outcome. Disengage from the attachment to the outcome of this situation and move on. A farmer doesn't sit down next to the seeds he plants waiting for them to sprout. What a recipe for disappointment. He plants them and moves on. Never once does he second guess if he was going to the right thing in the right way. He simply does what he is called to do and trusts that the fruits of his labor will be what they are supposed to be. This card also encourages a more formal teaching experience. Look for ways you can enrich others' lives through sharing your expertise and knowledge. Now, what this makes me think about, because even though this is your person's advice card, do I think that they would resonate with this? Probably not. But this is making me think about the meaning of this card, like the true meaning of this card, right? Because this card talks about an unrequited love situation and how this person pretty much beat themselves up and felt as if they weren't good enough and wondered why it is that the other person didn't accept them. But the truth of the matter is the fact that the lesson that they were intended to learn, and why I feel like this person has a teaching card, and like this person came in your path to teach you a valuable lesson about yourself that you can't see right now, because it's this, blaming yourself for why things panned out, which is why I feel like it's so important to tell you that this isn't, and because I've had people say this stuff in the comments. Gosh, people. Anyway, but it's not to say, like, I'm saying this isn't your fault, but that's not to remove responsibility, which I don't understand why a person would even imply such a thing. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But it's not to say that, woe is me, life is attacking me type of deal. It's just at times we walk into stuff blindly, right? But the way that we re-empower ourselves in situations that kind of caught us off guard is in learning the lesson. It's allowing ourselves time to grieve. It's allowing ourselves time to be sad. Even if you want to feel sorry for yourself for a little while, that's totally cool, just as long as you come out of it. But it's like once you get out of this energy, right? As you start to relinquish this, forgive yourself for the decisions that you made and start to move forward, that's when the lesson becomes clear. And the whole lesson of this card was the fact that the person that he loved was incapable of ever loving him, right? So it was never saying that he wasn't good enough. It wasn't saying that he wasn't able to love or he didn't love the person enough. It's just the person that he chose to love was incapable of ever reciprocating, right? So in essence, him loving someone who was incapable of loving, Spirit revealed to him, it showed the depth of the love that he is able to give to others, right? So that was the lesson of him going through this experience, is in spite of a person doing such horrible things to him, right? He was able to still love the person anyway, but the lesson was to no longer give love to people who are unable to reciprocate it, but to give that depth of love to a person who's willing to reciprocate it, if that makes sense. I hope it does. But I'll read all those in the extended. But we're going to do your dice of resonance. Man, I don't know what's going on, y'all. Like, everybody's reading this month has been cray-cray, which only lets me know that I'm going to come back a little sooner than expected to do some more readings. Because everybody's reading this month. It's like a whole bunch of breakups and people getting exposed and all kinds of mess. So I think I'm definitely going to do updates with these. But if you're not familiar with what these are, this is the Dice of Resonance. It's an art project I did a year ago. One of my subbies named it. I don't interpret them. I just toss them out, and however it resonates, it resonates. It has the 12 zodiac signs, and then it has clarifying die, which lets you know if it's the person's sun, moon, or rising. And you also have, in the role they play in your life, you also have the opportunity to ask a yes or no question. So if you want to do that, pause me. I'll give you some time to do that. But anything you want to ask that's a yes or no form of question, you have the ability to do that. All right. Let's see. We have friend. We have Aries. Ha! I wanted to say Aries. We have Scorpio. We have a question mark, so that means that Aries or Scorpio could be their sun, moon, rising, Venus, Jupiter, whatever. It could be anything. And the answer to your question is yes. So Aries, Scorpio, friend, question mark, and which means it could be anything. And the answer to your question is yes. But I love your face, Capricorn. This has been a lot. I'm going to continue to unpack this in the extended. If you want to follow me over to the Lurkers Lounge, the link is down below. But until the next time, I love your freaking face. And I will see you guys sooner than later. Deuces.